Welcome, 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 everyone. You're listening to Silence to Sound, and I am your host, Jackie Lawson. I am author of Breaking Free from the Mirage, and I am founder of Sound to Sound. I am a survivor, an advocate, and a speaker. And today, I'm going to be telling my story through the silent treatment. But before we get there, I'd like to thank some people that made this opportunity for me. Shout out to Jennifer at Office Depot for believing in my story enough to connect me to Tula, and to Tula for believing in my story enough to connect me to R.J. Watkins. Shout out to R.J. Watkins, Henry Tyler, Michelle, and the WGPR family for creating a space for people like me to be able to share our stories and our testimonies. To my sponsors, Black Lolov Collection, Blessed Beginning Learning Center, and DJ Colombo, thank you so much. To my ride or dies, Darlene Foster and cousin Michelle, sitting over here hoping she don't have to go on the air. I just like to thank everyone for all the support that you've given me, but most importantly, I want to thank the man above, because without him, none of this is possible. So today is the beginning. It's not just a show, but it's a conversation that many of us have not been allowed to have. It's about awareness. It's about something that we never thought of as harmful to us, and that's the silent treatment. But before we get into all of that, I just like to say, I am not a therapist. I don't have any degrees. I'm not here to diagnose anyone. I'm simply a girl from the east side of Detroit with a story and a testimony, and a hope that sharing my story would change someone else's journey. Know that this is a safe space. It's a space for awareness. It's a space for validation. It's a space for truth. It's a space for confirmation. And it's a place where we can put words to what you've been going through. Over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be breaking down the silent treatment. We're going to be giving space for people who've been hurt by silence and didn't know what it was. We're going to be telling our stories. We're not going to be silent about it anymore. And I'm going to start by telling my story today. But if you also have a story, or you'd like to ask me some questions, in the next 30 minutes, the phone lines will be open. And you could give us a call at 313-365-7379. So a little bit about me, about who I was before I became somebody else, somebody's wife. I was the middle child of 7 children, placed dead smack in the middle. 2 sisters and a brother older than me, and 2 sisters and a brother younger than me. Even from being a young girl, I felt a bit different. I felt like I didn't fit in some type of way. I felt like with my older sisters and brothers, I didn't fit in with them. And with my younger sisters and brothers, I didn't fit in with them either. I kind of just felt like I was there, like I can't even explain it. It was years later during one of my therapy sessions when I was asking the therapist about about the middle child syndrome. And so I may have suffered some middle child syndrome as a child, I'm not sure, but I just know that I've always felt different. I felt feelings of, as a child, I felt feelings of self-doubt, confusion, unworthiness, low self-esteem. And I think those feelings are what shaped many of the decisions I made in my life coming up. Some that I wish I could take back. Others I don't. But some that put me in a position to make me the person that I am. And I'll always be grateful for those. But nonetheless, because I carried those feelings of unworthiness and doubt, I didn't know what my real value was. And so I settled. I settled for less than what I really deserved in life. I just kind of cruised through mediocre grades in school, especially high school, just enough to get by. Because I knew I had to graduate. I knew I better not come home and didn't have that high school diploma. And so I did just enough to get by. But the truth is, I had honor roll qualities in me that I just had not tapped into yet. I hadn't opened that door. I didn't even know that it existed. And because I didn't know any better, I didn't do any better. So I barely graduated from high school. I went off to college. And as if flunking out one time wasn't enough, I went back and got some more and did it a second time. Because I didn't believe that I had in me what it took for me to make real accomplishments in my life. After I flunked out the second time, I went home, got a job, and then I became a young single mom. Being a mother was by far the greatest and the best thing that had ever happened to me in my life. No love ever compares to that of being a mom. And so I set off to take care of her, to raise her, to do the very best job that I could. But what I didn't know was that life held many obstacles for me. And the next one that was waiting down the road was drug addiction. I found myself dealing with some drug issues. It took a year out of my life, 1 year, for me to get my life together and get it back together. Because the truth is, I loved her and I loved being a mom much more than I loved drugs. And so I had to find a way to figure that out, to work it out, to make it happen. And I did. You know, it wasn't, I won't say it was difficult, but I won't say it was easy either. I will say that I had a lot of help from the man above in getting there. And I thought that drugs would be the hardest thing in my life for me to ever overcome. Even though I did it with no rehab, no counseling sessions, just one day I didn't have it. But it was have that urge, but it was still one of the most difficult things I had to deal with in life. I thought it was the hardest battle that I would ever face. But what I didn't know was there was a silent storm waiting for me down the road. But I had always been resilient. I had always bounced back. I had always found a way to get back to what I needed and to make things happen the way I needed it to happen. Because you see, I was a mother, and I had to make it happen for her. So after the drugs, I went back to college for the third time. And this time, I graduated with honors. This was when I knew I was starting to open up that door that was always there. I just needed to be able to see it for myself. I graduated. I got a good job at a major cellular company. And I thought I was doing good. Then life hit me again. An undiagnosed illness. Doctors were baffled. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know how to treat it. And I went several years, maybe 8 or 10 years, even without it being diagnosed. During that time, I lost everything that I had fought hard for. The house that I had purchased for myself and my daughter, car, I lost everything and had to go back to where I fought so hard to move her from. But guess what, y'all? Resilience and the man above. I don't give up. Some years went by and, I felt better and I was able to get back to work. And I got back to church, or at least I went to church. I had always just been, honestly, in and out of church. Never a stable for years and years, but always in and out, and always calling on him when times were rough. But back at church is where I met him. This is where it all started. This is the reason I have this book, Breaking Free from the Mirage. He was kind. He was gentle. He was loving. He loved his family. His family loved him. My family loved him. He was a great provider. He was just there for just about everybody. If they called him and asked him something, he was that person. He was there. And I met him in the church, so I believed him to be a man of God. And I'm not going to say what he is or isn't now, because I can't speak for him. But I'm speaking for my feelings and how I felt and how I saw him. And the one thing that really got me about him, he didn't seem to be playing those games that people play. He wasn't playing to my knowledge anyway, the 2 or 3 women, a woman over here and a woman over there. He was just always there and always available for me. He was patient. He was kind. He was generous. And he was one of those men, when I was dating him, he was one of those men that when we going out on a date, the only thing I had to do was get dressed and get ready to go. Most times I had no idea where we were going. I just knew that I was going with him and that we were going to have a good time. And so I get dressed and I get in the car with him and we would go. And I would have a good time. And honestly, I didn't know where we were going, but I can tell you I was having the time of my life because he was treating me better than any man had ever treated me in my entire life. And I thought that made it real. I thought it was real. Then one day, probably about 3 months in, he looked at me and he said, "I love you." And I looked at him, and I just looked at him because he was saying all the things that I was feeling, but too afraid to say. And so I just kind of sat there and I looked at him. And he looked at me and he said, "Can't you say that you love me?" And so I did. I said that I love him. And I thought that that was the beginning of something brand new, something different. I thought that my prayers for a good man were being answered. I felt comfortable with him. I felt safe. I felt loved. I was relaxing with him. Nothing felt better than those days and those times with him. But years and years later, I would find out that sometimes what feels like a prayer being answered is only a rehearsal for what's yet to come. And had I been paying close attention to what he said before the "I love yous," my journey may have been very different. You see, weeks before that, he told me that I said something that I knew I didn't say. He told me that I made a request of him that I knew I didn't make that request. Because that request, I had nothing to gain from it. And the two of us together had nothing to gain from that request. So it wouldn't even make sense that I would make that request. But he sounded so convincing to me that I doubted my own truth. That I just kind of let it slide. I was kind of in a space of, it's one little white lie. One little white lie is not going to hurt anything. Okay, I was having a great time with him, and so I wasn't going to let that one little white lie disturb the good time that I was having with him. And so I continued on with him. And in a minute, we're going to take a little break. And then when I come back, I'm going to tell you what happened after that. Thank you, and stay tuned.
Have you ever felt confused in a relationship, but couldn't explain why? No yelling, no bruises, just silence. This isn't just a book, it's validation. It's awareness. It's freedom. Stop calling it a rough patch. Call it what it is. Break free. Purchase Breaking Free from the Mirage at www.silence2sound.com. Breaking Free from the Mirage, Unmasking the Abuse Hidden in Silence. Author, Jacqueline Lawson. Available at Amazon.
The Black Lotus Collective is a community of care dedicated to advancing women's health. We hold space for women in reproductive health and birth, offering education, embodied healing, and advocacy that honors ancestral wisdom. We help with birth planning, educational and emotional support, and resource referrals. Headed into labor, we're right by your side to provide comfort measures, labor support, and advocacy to ensure your birth plan is followed. Once your baby has arrived, we support bonding to create a positive earthside experience. And in your 4th trimester, we're there to help with lactation, newborn care, postpartum visits, and recovery guidance. If you're planning a pregnancy, currently pregnant, or looking for postpartum support, our collective is here for you. Visit us at www.theblacklotuscollective.org.
Hi, everyone. My name is LaShawn Bridges, and I am owner and director of Blessed Beginning Learning Center, located on the east side of Detroit at Gratiot and Shaner on the famous 8 Mile Road. Here at Blessed Beginning Learning Center, we start at ages birth to 5 years old. We offer early Head Start and GSRP, which is our free 4-year-old program. We are known for our smaller classrooms, which provide lower ratios that we offer to our families.
The staff here is like family. They are so wonderful. I love them. I love the way that they take care of my children. My child has developed immensely. He's very independent now. He likes to share. It's amazing. I'm loving it.
The facility itself is extremely clean. It's very bright when you come in. A lot of colors, a lot of pictures, a lot of toys.
If I had to say one thing to other parents who are looking for a center, I would say, look no more. This is the place. They care about your children. They love on them. They teach them. They treat your child as if their child. And I couldn't ask for a better place to send my daughter. For more information, please be sure to reach out to us on our website at www.blessedbeginningslc.com, or you can give us a call at 313-332-5168. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon.
My name is DJ Colombo, aka Rodney Eddy from Colombo's Custom Sounds and Lighting Service, servicing the Metro Detroit area. Call us when you have an event going on so we can service the needs you have inside, outside. It doesn't matter. We have all sound systems to fit your every need. Feel free to call me at 313-220-0932. That's 313-220-0932. Or you can look me up on djcolombo.com.
Welcome back, everyone. If you are just now joining us, you are listening to Silence to Sound, and I'm your host, Jackie Lawson. I am author of Breaking Free from the Mirage. I am the founder of Sound to Sound, and today I am sharing my story and my journey through the silent treatment. If you were here right before the break, right before we left off, I was talking about the day when my ex said I had made a request of him that I really hadn't made. The request didn't benefit me, and it didn't benefit us as a couple. So there was no need for me to make that request. But as I was saying, it sounded so convincing that I even doubted my own truth. And I decided that I just would kind of just look over it. Like, what harm can one little bitty white lie be? Because everything else fell in place so well. He was so kind, so gentle, so sweet, just everything that I had ever asked for in a man. And I wasn't about to let that one little instance stop me from the times that I'm with him, the times I was enjoying him, the fun we had. So I decided to ignore it. But what I didn't know at the time was that's the day that my reality started bending. Because you see, I chose fun, I chose love, and I chose comfort over my own truth. And what that did, it let him know that he could lie on me and I'd be okay with it. it let him know that he can bend and twist my truth and that I wouldn't fight back. But all I had saw was the good. I mean, I was in it, and I was falling hard. And I didn't see the harm, and I didn't recognize it until years later when I had already left him, and I had to go back and unpack everything that had happened over the years. That was when I realized when it all started. But nonetheless, at the time, I was happy with him. I was enjoying him. I was having fun. We was hanging. We was just doing all the things that made me happy, and I didn't have any complaints about him. So about 15 months after meeting him, I married him. All was good. He was great. He replaced that house I had lost within the first year we together. He had bought me a beautiful home, a new car, and all was good. But sometime I think maybe after that first year, or probably after that first year, but definitely before the second year, that's when things started to change. He was no longer coming into the bedroom unless it fitted his own needs. Sleeping on the couch every night, ignoring me, not talking to me. And this only happened in the quiet of our home. It's not how it was when other people were around. Other people had no clue what was happening. They loved him, and to be honest, at this time, I still loved him too. But I had started to feel like something wasn't right, but I just couldn't put my hand on it. I didn't know what it was, but I couldn't understand why we were practically newlyweds still, and he was choosing the couch over me. It was just kind of quiet in the house, and quiet, a lot of people see it as peace. And I guess it can be peace until you discover you're being punished, that it's a punishment. And sometimes quiet can be a punishment. That silence went on for years. I mean, there were some episodes of silence that were worse than others, but the silence went on for years and years, pretty much until the end of the marriage, when I kind of just walked away from it. It happened all the way up until then. But the defining moment for me happened at about 15 years into the marriage. One day, one dinner, one discovery, and one decision changed. It changed everything about what I thought about our marriage. And it shattered my whole entire world. Because even though there was silence in the marriage, I still loved him. Because at this point, I didn't know that silence was the punishment. I mean, I kind of got used to it, and I'm like, okay, he gonna be silent now. And I let him walk around the house and be silent for a week, 10 days, and I kind of just got used to it and walked around the house. And I knew, give them, a week or so, it'll be over. But this discovery, that day, it changed everything. Because when you find out that everything that you're begging for in a spouse, and they're unwilling to give it to you, but willingly giving it to other people, acting as if you're incapable with me, but no problems with other people. That day, that dinner, that decision, it changed everything. That's the day that I realized it was all pretty much a lie. Because if you can walk around this house and not give it to me, but freely give it to not just somebody else, but freely give it to other people, then what does that say about me? And what does that say about us? That day, I understood that the silence I had seen him give me in episodes when he was angry, that he could also give me that same silence and not be angry about anything, or at least about anything that I knew about. And that's the moment that forced me to confront something I had normalized for years. It forced me to confront the fact that my life with him was filled with his intentional actions to make me question my own reality. It was filled with him intentionally withholding affection, emotion, and communication with me, all as a means to punish me. For what reasons? I'm not sure, but all as a means to punish me and to control me. And whether he was aware of not of what he was doing, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that whether he was aware or not, it still almost broke me. And if I didn't have the resilience in my soul that I do to come back time after time after time, it would have broke me. But that too, I picked up the pieces. Because whether he knew or not, it still hurt me. As much as he has shown me love, he was showing me hurt. And it still caused me emotional damage. And I still had to work through all of that pain. And put my life back together. Because you see, when there's emotional damage, it's not like it's not like what we hear about physical abuse. There was no police cars coming to our door. There was no yelling, no screaming, no door slamming. Just sheer silence. And emotional abuse, it doesn't scream. It doesn't do any of that. It just slowly erases who you are. As my therapist used to say, death by 1,000 pokes. And I think I had encountered those 1,000 pokes while I was with him. Because by the time I got to this stage, I didn't know who I was anymore. Because emotional damage, it slowly erases you. And the most damaging part about it all is that the actions could be so subtle that you have no idea what they are. Not until you're all the way in it, and not until you've suffered so much that you literally have to claw your way back to some sense of normalcy in your life. Because I tell you, I didn't know. Had I known, it's no way I would have been there. But I did know that something was wrong for a lot of years. But I thought that if I stuck it out with him longer, loved him a little more, a little more patient, a little more understanding, that one day he will see, I'm down for you. Because I was down for him. Maybe more than any other woman in his life before or even now. I was down for him. You couldn't have convinced me I'd be here now telling this story. But we're going to take another little commercial break. And then I'm going to finish my story when we come back.
The Black Lotus Collective is a community of care dedicated to advancing women's health. We hold space for women in reproductive health and birth, offering education, embodied healing, and advocacy that honors ancestral wisdom. We help with birth planning, educational and emotional support, and resource referrals. Headed into labor, we're right by your side to provide comfort measures, labor support, and advocacy to ensure your birth plan is followed. Once your baby has arrived, we support bonding to create a positive earthside experience. And in your fourth trimester, we're there to help with lactation, newborn care, postpartum visits, and recovery guidance. If you're planning a pregnancy, currently pregnant, or looking for postpartum support, our collective is here for you. Visit us at www.theblacklotuscollective.org.
My name is DJ Colombo, aka Rodney Eddy from Colombo's Custom Sounds and Lighting Service, servicing the Metro Detroit area. Call us when you have an event going on so we can service the needs you have inside, outside. It doesn't matter. We have all sound systems to fit your every need. Feel free to call me at 313-220-0932. That's 313-220-0932. Or you can look me up on djcolombo.com.
Hi, everyone. My name is LaShawn Bridges, and I am owner and director of Blessed Beginning Learning Center, located on the east side of Detroit at Gratiot and Shaner on the famous 8 Mile Road. Here at Blessed Beginning Learning Center, we start at ages birth to 5 years old. We offer early Head Start and GSRP, which is our free 4-year-old program. We are known for our smaller classrooms, which provide lower ratios that we offer to our families.
The staff here is like family. They are so wonderful. I love them. I love the way that they take care of my children. My child has developed immensely. He's very independent now. He likes to share. It's amazing. I'm loving it.
The facility itself is extremely clean. It's very bright when you come in. A lot of colors, a lot of pictures, a lot of toys.
If I had to say one thing to other parents who are looking for a center, I would say, look no more. This is the place. They care about your children. They love on them. They teach them. They treat your child as if their child. And I couldn't ask for a better place to send my daughter.
For more information, please be sure to reach out to us on our website at www.blessedbeginningslc.com, or you can give us a call at 313-332-5168. We're looking forward to hearing from you soon.
Have you ever felt confused in a relationship but couldn't explain why? No yelling, no bruises, just silence. This isn't just a book, it's validation. It's awareness. It's freedom. Stop calling it a rough patch. Call it what it is. Break free. Purchase Breaking Free from the Mirage at www.silence2sound.com. Breaking Free from the Mirage. Unmasking the abuse hidden in silence. Author Jacqueline Lawson. Available at Amazon.
All right, so I think I left off. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm gonna be honest. The last comments I made were very emotional to me. This is still an emotional journey to me, and I'm pushing on because failure is not a part of my resume. So I'm going to pick up where I think I left off at a point where I'm saying, here I am. I'm battling again. After everything I had went through, after everything I had overcame, after all the hills and the mountains, after everything, I found myself battling again in a place where I'm supposed to be safe. And I had to start fighting again. So I did what I always do. I prepared for battle because I didn't know how to do anything else but fight. That was the day I started working on reclaiming my soul. Because you see, my soul is not for sale, not at any price. There's not enough materialistics. There's not enough nothing. You can't buy me houses and cars and take me on vacations and think we're going to be good. Because it's much more than that to me and to life. And when I realized I had lost pieces of myself, and I didn't even see it coming. It's like it just hit me, and there it was. But I got ready. The conversations, I was already in therapy, because I was already in therapy. And so the conversations I was having with my therapist, they started to change. They went from a, can you help me save us? To help me save me. And my prayer changed to, Lord, just help me. Help me get out of this. Help me to find my way back to who I used to be before all the betrayal, before all the silence. And I never forget. There was one day, and I was on my knees, and I was just praying and asking God to help me, to show me a sign. It was around my our anniversary, and also around the anniversary of my mother's death. And she had really just passed a few years earlier, so this time of the year was a very difficult time of year for me. But I remember being down on my knees during those couple of days and just praying and asking God for a sign. Because I was so lost, I didn't know what to do. I was so broken, I didn't know how to fix it. I was so afraid that I didn't know what to do. But while I was down on my knees praying, something happened to me. It felt almost like an out-of-body experience. Something happened to me while I was down on the floor, while I was down on my knees praying. Something happened. Something traumatic happened. Something wonderful happened. And when I rose up off the floor that day, I rose up differently than I've ever felt before, or at least than I have felt in a very long time. I felt like I was rising up in slow motion. But when I stood up, I knew exactly what to do. Because down on that floor that day, my prayers were answered. And when I rose up off the floor, I was not the same person that kneeled down on that floor that day. One dinner, one discovery, one prayer, and a whole lot of tears in between had changed everything for me. And I knew exactly what to do. I knew that I had to pick myself back up, learn how to fight again, and pull the pieces of my life back together. So that's the part of my story for today. But if you're starting to connect dots in your own life that you couldn't see before, know that that's why I wrote the book, Breaking Free from the Mirage. And maybe this book might be for you. The show is intended to give you clarity and awareness, but my book gives you the full journey. I share the private moments, I share the doubts, I share the confusion, and the clarity that changed everything for me. So if you're ready to go deeper, my book, Breaking Free from the Mirage, is available on Amazon. And not because you need a book, but because you deserve clarity and awareness and understanding. So that's my story for today. That's as much as I can emotionally unpack in 1 hour. We're going to open up the phone lines now if anybody has any. Okay. So while we're waiting to see if we get a call, I do want to make an announcement. If you're in the Is that one? If you're in the Detroit area and you like to get an autograph copy of my book, on Saturday, March the 14th, I will be a vendor at a small business expo. It is Detroit 313 Born and Raised. That's Saturday, March the 14th from 12 noon to 5 p.m. And it's going to be at the Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church, 2080 West Grand Boulevard in Detroit. And also, if you have a book already, feel free to bring it there and I'll be happy to autograph it for you. The proceeds for the small business go to support FOG. That's For Our Grieving Kids. The phone lines are open. That number is 313-365-7379. You're up, cousin. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. We got a question coming in. But know that this space that we're in, it's a place of safety. It's a place of clarity. It's a place of awareness. It's a place where you can be comfortable and you can talk. And we're definitely, over the next 3 sessions left after this, we're definitely going to be putting words to some things you may have experienced before and not known what they are. I hope that my journey and my telling my story would mean that your journey may not be as long as mine. It may not be as difficult as mine. And so that's the whole goal here today, to bring awareness to the silent treatment, which is something that people will be going through it but not know that it's a form of emotional abuse. And so that's my whole story here, to bring awareness, because I didn't know what it was. For years I had no idea what it was. And when I found out what it was, I left. I prepared to leave the marriage and I left. And when I left, because he had been such a good and kind guy to everybody, and kind guy to everybody, I shocked 100% of the people that knew us the day that I left him. Hello, caller.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
This is Washir Ruth, and I just called to say this book is so inspirational. I cannot wait to get a copy of it. Can you please say where we can find her again next week? And what type of advice would she give to someone who's also going through a hard, challenging time right now and just could use a word of encouragement?
What worked for me was prayer, and a whole lot of it. There were 4 things that I did. I went back to the church. I had an amazing church family, and I prayed. My pastor and first lady were marvelous in assisting me. Also, I had therapy. Therapy was amazing because it gives you that 1 hour every week where it's only about you and unpacking you. I would suggest having a way that you'd like to have fun. I have a whole Beard Wiz crew that I spent a lot of time with, and we would play cards and have fun. That was the time that I spent not thinking about what was going on in my life, just having fun. And then I had something that I did at home. I love the outdoors. I love gardening. And so I spent a lot of time gardening. Miss Washia Ruth, I wish I could give you more advice on what to do for self, but because I'm not a trained counselor, I'm not able to do that. But I am telling you what worked for me. And I would...
Oh, I'm sorry. What you offered is so valuable. Making sure, I'm just repeating, that I stay grounded in church and that I get a good church family. That I also find things outside that I find enjoyable to do, be it with or being in the yard. And likewise, making sure that I go to therapy so that I keep my T's on my cracker and in my mental health well. So that's invaluable. Sometimes words of wisdom just come from experience. So thank you for the experiences.
You're welcome, caller. And just a note, the book is available on Amazon, or you can purchase it from our website, Silence to Sound. That's the number 2, silence2sound.com.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I wish you all the best.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
She's gone.
We have Cousin over here. She has a couple of questions for
That's the same one I was getting ready to ask you. Okay, I got a couple more. Okay, hello everyone. My question to Jackie. What have you learned about yourself going through this ordeal?
Oh. One thing for sure that I learned is resilience. I think I came out on, I'm not going to say on top of this one, but I'm so much better than I was. And if you just stay grounded in prayer and faith, you'll make it through. And you'll make it to the other side just as I did. Thank you, everyone.
You gonna wrap it up?
Yes.
Okay, just wrap it up.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I hope I said something that will be encouraging to everyone, something that you may be able to use on your journey. I pray that my journey will help you with your journey. And remember, if you saw something in my story that maybe you didn't, that's in your story that you hadn't recognized before, my book, Breaking Free from the Mirage, will be able to assist you. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing everyone next week.